A very good morning from the heart of Chengdu. Welcome to the 2025 World Games Ultimate Competition time. From the university campus out here in Chengdu, fabulous pictures from overhead in this magnificent stadium. We're coming to you live from China, the world's finest ultimate players just about to assemble for 5 days of elite mixed gender competition, national pride, global rivalries of course, and breathtaking skill on full display. This is the sport's greatest stage, and we're only gathering the top 8 nations to win the right to climb that podium in a few days from now. The crowd's getting set, we're all set, and I am delighted to be able to welcome Robin Finney to the microphone. And Robin, you're a national US treasure. Lots of national duties, and welcome to Chengdu in China.
Thank you very much, Brendan. I'm so excited to be here. The lead up to this event has been incredible. The teams have been on the ground for most of the last week, getting in some practice games against each other, some friendly matches with the opposite pool opponents in preparations for today's kicking off of the opening events.
Look at this wonderful facility out here, Robin. This is a marvelous sports university out here, just to the south of the city, and certainly as far as facilities are concerned, we want for nothing. I tell you what, perhaps the big headline is this. It's the weather forecast for the next day. At the moment, they reckon it's 27 degrees. We're in a wonderful commentary position here. We're enjoying some luxurious Chinese sunshine. It feels a little bit warmer than 27 degrees, and I think it's probably going to get that way a little bit later on this afternoon. My question to you, Robin, is obviously preparation is key amongst these teams, but what do you reckon? What factor the weather?
The athletes are going to have to be very smart about how they take care of their bodies with the sun and humidity. For the athletes I've spoken with in the last few days, even those who are acclimated to the type of heat we're facing, there are not a lot of athletes who are, currently acclimated to both heat and humidity. The Colombian team has a lot of athletes who are familiar with these types of conditions. Also in the U.S., we have some folks who compete kind of in the southeastern part of the country.
Let's have a look at some of the pools then. Some of the top teams, as I said, are here, and pool competition. We get underway in just a few moments. Of course, it's a traditional rivalry in Pool A.
Yes, Pool A, we have the luxury of getting to kick off the event with the U.S. and Japan. The two nations have a storied history. Ultimately, Japan has not beaten the U.S. since 2009 in the pool play stages, where Japan was victorious 13-11 over the U.S., but the U.S. ultimately took home the gold medal in the gold medal match, 13-6, beating Japan. But these two nations across all divisions have competed and traded events, traded results, and we're really excited to see how these teams set the tone for the event for all of the teams.
So this is the first of 3 that we have today. Upcoming later on today, Robin, what have we got?
In Pool A, we have Germany versus China. I've been told that, excitingly, that game will be broadcast throughout China, exposing millions of people to this game. I'm really excited to see how China makes their debut against, I would say, last World Games cycle's kind of darlings of the tournament, Germany. I think everybody really got behind that German team and are really excited to see what the host nation will do on the field.
So there was Pool A, so featuring, of course, USA, Japan, Germany, and China, and on CCTV tonight, so that's fantastic. Pool B, of course, is Colombia, Canada, Australia, and France. We'll see a couple of them later on in the day as well.
I'm especially excited for the last match of the game, or last match of the day, between Australia and France. Two very physical, very tall, fast, exciting nations. And so I think we're going to have a very exciting day today across all 4 games.
So for those new to the sport, on screen at the moment we are seeing
are 3 game advisors. Game advisors are similar to referees, except game advisors do not make active calls. One of the marquee tenets of Ultimate Frisbee and the entire flying disc discipline is that the players resolve their own calls. They make their foul calls, travels, other violations throughout gameplay, and have to resolve conflict while they're also competing against their opponents. Game advisors are there to step in with rules clarifications, keep time in between points to make sure that the game is progressing at an expected pace, and then also they're there to kind of suggest calls such as offsides on the pole, which is at the beginning of every point, but it's still up to the teams to make all of those calls. They're there to kind of help mediate and give perspective, but ultimately it's on the players, which is one of my favorite things about Ultimate Frisbee as a discipline.
And the other interesting fact is we saw there the Frisbee that's going to be used here in this competition. For those that have just joined and got to love the game of disc sports, especially with disc golf last week, the difference between this Frisbee then and the disc golf Frisbee that we saw in competition.
Yeah, the disc golf Frisbees, much like in the sport of ball golf, there are different discs for different distances and types of shots. However, in Ultimate, teams are using the same disc, and experienced throwers can put different shapes and edges and speeds on the disc, but it does take a lot more mastery to learn how to throw all of those different throws with the same disc.
Well, the PA is just introducing the crowd to the various teams. That's Cammy Groom there. Lindsley. 11 for the USA is Callum Finney. Ralphie Hayes is at 17 today. Anna Thompson. 31 is Chris Kocher. 33 is Dawn Coulton. And one of the Ing brothers down there, that's Henry, going to be wearing jersey number 34. 37 is Claire Trobe, keep an eye on her. Claire Chastain and Michael Ing as well in 79. And Marcus Brownlee, keep an eye on him as well. Got a huge arm on him, that guy. Could be a handful for these Japanese as they go the big throws later in the competition. Morocco, Makiyama is in at 5 today. Korono is in jersey number 6. Number 10, Matsuno. This is the man we've got to keep an eye on. An extraordinary player and coach as well. Tajima is at 16. Imanashi. Arakawa there. Miyashi. Shimizu is on bib 33. Kashino in 64. That's 84, that's Suzuki, and Takada at 88. Yangahara is in jersey number 94. Interesting, the Japanese team, if I may, Robin. I mean, we've got Matsuno, who's going to be wearing number 10 today, captain coach. Big call.
And Matsuno is one of the most iconic Ultimate Frisbee players in the sport, still active. His first World Games appearance was in 2005 when he was still in university, and he's gotten a silver in 2009. I mentioned, the last time that Japan had beaten the U.S. At the World Games, Japan did so in the pool play round in 2009, and they were able to go for silver at the end of that result. But Matsuno also has 2 silver medals with Team Japan, a bronze with Team Japan, and then as well with his world-renowned club team, the Buzz Bullets, winning the World Ultimate Club Championships in 2006, taking home bronze in 2010.
The other interesting thing about the Japanese team, they seem to have gone for experience as well. I'm thinking about Arakawa at 24, Jet Boy. He's getting on in years now. He's 35 years of age, for instance.
The thing that's exciting about this Japanese team is you're taking some of the most iconic players of Japanese Ultimate that really helped shape the sport and combining them with some of the most exciting up-and-coming athletes. in Japan. I'm really excited to see Kanari Imanishi. She's wearing number 21. She's been playing with San Francisco Fury in the U.S. and has made her mark and has gained a lot of fans in the United States.
So it looks like the first and historic pull is from Michael Ng for the USA. So competition is underway here. Japan inviting the US offense to come and have a crack. Japan's offensive setup at the moment is pretty predictable at this stage, I would suggest to you, Robin.
Yeah, they started out with a side stack. You can see all of their players were in a vertical line on that far side of the field, on the top side of your screen. They were looking to isolate a player on the near side of the field, but the U.S. had some really effective poaching to take away that isolation cut.
So Japan just testing out the US at the moment. This American defensive side has been so predominant in recent international competitions. Oh, great lunge there. Oh, great interference there as well by the US.
Yeah, Michael Ng was anticipating that fast inside forehand shot that Japanese ultimate is so well known for, positioned ever so slightly in front of his matchup, ready to make that block.
Arakawa just putting it down, then this long hop here. And goal straight away for Team USA.
Dawn Colton with the first goal of the tournament. I'm expecting to say her name a lot throughout these games. Dawn Colton's coming off of a historic collegiate career with the University of North Carolina Pleiades. Explosive athlete who's made some of the most highlight-worthy dropping plays. But here, we don't need to see her do that because she's able to get open in space so that after Ng successfully tracks that long throw down, that Dawn Colton is splitting the field, wide open, easy assist. That's the kind of break chance efficiency that the U.S. is looking for in transition.
So USA then up one. They get a break as well. Play again. So having scored, the USA give up the Frisbee to the Japanese team. Oikawa. Oh, beautiful break here by Japan, and they answer as well.
Wow, that was an incredible defensive effort by Michael Ng. You can see that the defensive strategy for the U.S. is to push the Japanese players into the deep space. Japan known for those lower, faster, kind of flat huck shots, those away passes for the speedy Japanese receivers to track down. You know, Ng makes a really great play, but falls just a little short. And Arakawa looking to add to his many goals, I'm sure, of the tournament. He was the goal leader of all of the returning players from the 2022 campaign, with 12 goals in 2022 in Birmingham, Alabama. You know, I think that experience in very hot, humid weather of Alabama in the U.S. will prepare the Japanese returning players to keep their cool even when pressure gets high.
Well, we mentioned Arakawa at the outset, of course. Jet Boy, he's certainly got a bit of a reputation. Okay, play, it's one apiece here then at the stadium. Very warm conditions. This is Finney. Two played there, going sideways. This is Ng, Henry. Back to Ing. Nice play. That's Hayes. Ralphie Hayes setting up the two play here. Nice work over the top by Hayes again, combining nicely in this mid-sector. Freechild, big name in US Ultimate, will have a big impact on this tournament. Finney. Hayes, did he get it? Are they conceding there, or? Yes, he got it.
Yeah, Rafi Hayes able to get his hands underneath that disc and save possession. You know, I will say Carolyn Finney's textbook forehand throws are like so precise. She's so powerful, so accurate. Definitely not known for backhands, but you know what? I think that we trust that Rafi Hayes is going to be able to come up with that grab no matter what.
Well, he does it invariably, doesn't he, in the US team, and he just squeaks it over here. Finney through the gap, and Hayes just right there, just picks it up off the top of the turf. So it's 2-1 then.
Yeah, I'm anticipating that we're going to see a lot of that same type of what we call a dominator set with the American handlers, where we have three players kind of in the backfield responsible for lots of throws and catches to jumpstart offensive momentum. After the natural gains were stopped, they were able to fall back into their vertical stack end zone.
Brownlee gets things underway. Japan accepts the Frisbee. So the Japanese offensive team now going to try and do something here. Oh, just in front of Brownlee. That's fantastic. Japan got options left, right, and through the gap. So Japan not going away at all in the competition.
And again, that quick release away shot, we call those hucks, the away shot. It's nice and flat on a platter. That one maybe hung a little bit more than the thrower intended to, but the Japanese receiver, because he did have a couple of steps on Marquez Brownlee in the deep space, he was able to establish positions early and make sure that he was able to body Marquez Brownlee out from making a play in the air.
Corono nicely through the gap there.
Yeah, let's get another look at that. You can see how he was able to adjust his line to box Brownlee out of the deep space.
So that's 2 for Arakawa now. He's doing well.
Yeah, I would also say Matsuno, probably the unsung hero of that goal, following the play, getting into the reset space behind the thrower on the end zone line, getting his defender out of the way so that Arakawa could secure more open goal.
2 apiece then. Japan not going away at the moment. Very deep. Freechild. There's another player that's been in the US team for a while. Ing Henry. This is Lindsley, number 10. Looking for some options, going left, going right, goes inside. Finley having a look out, space being made. USA on the attack here. Lindsley again. Burton. Helton. Freechild. And just denied, but have to look at that in replay. Not sure whether they got it.
Rafi Hayes getting his toe down in the back of the end zone after an incredible defensive play by Japan. The American end zone offense was so patient, looking for resets to create big space, getting the disc off of the sideline. Freechild tried to maybe just bend that backhand throw over the Japanese poaching defender. I was very impressed with the defensive scheme there by Japan. forcing many throws. By placing that defender and looking for switch opportunities at the front end zone cone on the near sideline where the disc was trapped.
Very controlled by the Americans, and it's basically sort of a playbook as well that comes out of the Japanese once upon a time. It was something that they sort of perfected when they tried to take on the bigger teams in this game of Ultimate. Hayes then with 2 at the moment against his name. Here with the clock on 60, it's 3-2 USA. Resumes. USD comes up to try and shepherd this Japanese player. Free child there. Aminishi. Back to Aminishi. Space being made. This is Kurono. 10's free, Matsuno, they're trying to look him, they're trying to hook up with him. Shimizu. There's space in the end zone if they want it, they're looking for it, they're trying to get there. Once again, a series of phases here, great intercept by Team USA.
Anna Thompson able to read that swing pass coming to number 88. Takata.
So a break here. Brownlee looking for options, goes inside.
Appears there's a pick or a foul call off disc. You can see Michael Ng kind of making the symbol for foul, and it was accepted. So the disc will return back to Marquez Brownlee.
So the ruling there was that the American player Ng was interfered with?
No, it was off disc, so it was between Claire Trope and her matchup.
Okay. We haven't called Trope much at the moment. This is Anna Thompson going long, looking for Brownlee.
Michael Ng.
Michael Ng, excuse me.
Anna Thompson making her mark early in this game. You know, Anna Thompson really did make a mark for her name, for herself in the U.S. with really explosive, exciting defensive plays like that that we saw to get the disc for the U.S. And Michael Ng, after he attacks under, he then turns deep to attack that back corner. And Anna Thompson kind of serving the same shape of huck that the Japanese players like to hit, that kind of arcing forehand throw out in front of the receiver, just textbook pinpoint precise, and the U.S. gets another clean break chance.
Do indeed. So the USA at the moment traveling pretty comfortably. It's 4-2 here. And there's just a momentary call by them. Underway. So a chance again for the Japanese offense to come out. Team USA tightening up their defensive plays here at the moment. Long break. Beautiful work by the Japanese. And in.
That is another perfectly placed forehand deep shot for Japan off of that initial full play motion. You know, I think the last defensive point, we saw the Americans come out with Claire Trope helping in the deep space, able to disrupt the deep game of the Japanese. And then when they had to work and throw more passes, that's when they were able to generate that block by Anna Thompson. At this point, there was no deep help. You know, Michael Ng was Henry Ng was out on an island there. And, you know, he was very close, very tight to his matchup, but the precision of these away shots by Japan, it's very, very hard to defend. I totally understand why the U.S. is kind of playing their positional defense the way they are to force the Japanese players out. you know, because the longer the pass is, the more likely it is that a defender can make an adjustment if the pass is not right on the money.
Sure, no, then with another goal for Japan, currently 4-3, Team USA. Brownlee setting things up here. Put a super arm on him, this guy. See what he can do. Chasing his options on the inside. Brownlee again. That's Kocha. Over the top.
Yes, Anna!
No call there, just wondering whether they are going to call it. Looks like they have. Interference.
It was a foul, and you could see that it was accepted by the Japanese defender.
USA just probing here. Inside. Options up front. Good 1-2 here as well. Finney looking inside, and there it is. Looks like another goal there.
The U.S. was very patient, obviously throwing a lot of passes, but the thing that I would note is that the American throwers were very effectively moving the Japanese zone with pump fakes. And you could see that as soon as the American thrower would pump fake, a different teammate would then attack a gap that they created with that pump fake. You could see that as soon as the thrower would turn, they would create a space, and you could see Claire Chastain was able to find Chris Kocher there in the end zone because of that move that Rafi Hayes made.
Chastain was instrumental in the linkage there in that particular sequence of play. Kocher and Brownlee there in deep discussion at the moment. Looking at some options.
I'll note that the wind is picking up a little bit in the venue. So right now it appears that the U.S. is kind of pulling up into the wind. Doesn't seem to affect Henry Ng's pull there. But you know, when you start getting wind, it does present a nice challenge for offenses. And defensively, you can do a lot of things to make the throws more difficult throwing into the wind.
Here goes Japan again then. Known for this precision passing. Nice gap opened up there. This is Arakawa again, key link man in this Japanese team. Over the top, nicely by Matsuno. Arakawa again.
There's a pick call with Grant Lindsley marking Arakawa. Unlike other sports, you cannot intentionally disrupt the path by making someone run through another player.
Once again, Japan just gets the breakthrough, so they're not going away. They bring it back.
You know, and Henry Ng is in a really good space there, but the thing that makes Japan so lethal when they have the disc is that every single player on their team is so precise with their throws, and all of the throws are delivered quickly. Not a very big throwing motion. You can just see the thrower holds it, and it's just like a little kind of flick of the wrist, and he's able to get the disc out in front of his receiver. Of course, having to kind of get down to make the play, but that's a pretty routine grab.
Corona then, and interesting hook up there with number 10, of course, the player coach in Matsuno, setting that whole thing up for Japan. So it's 5-4 at the moment here, deep into this first half of the first Pool A game at World Ultimate here at the World Games. Japan, USA. kosher. Bradley on the inside. Round the corner, options up front. Oh, interception by Japan. Read it a mile off. Japan.
Makiyama, great read there to make a safe play right around Anna Thompson. Floating it out there.
Marikoa interrupted. What a great D there.
Rafi Hayes able to elevate. I think that unlike the rest of the deep shots that we've seen from Japan, that one hangs up in the air and we see what happens. When the disc is hanging, it allows the American defenders to get up and make those plays.
Ambitious, just a little bit too much on that.
Rafi Hayes putting it out too far in front for Claire Trope. But once again, we saw, Makiyama looking to help in the deep space against the American offensive shot there.
I wondered just, you were mentioning the wind there, Robin. I just wonder whether that might have just been a bit of a factor in that particular shot. But
I think that as soon as Rafi let go of the disc seemed a little bit too low, a little bit too fast. Even if there wasn't any wind, the wind is very mild. I think I should put that in perspective for folks. It's what we in Ultimate would call a, quote, thrower's wind. So if you are a really skilled, talented thrower, it gives you a little bit of extra shape that you can put on the disc, but it isn't anything that's going to severely limit the disc skills of any of the players on any of these teams in the tournament.
so again, the Japanese will try. This is, brilliant piece of work there. Makiyama with the disc. Bold. Moroka.
The throw from Makiyama to Morioka was so technically difficult, especially with the wind and the positioning of Rafi Hayes. I cannot overstate how that not only opened the field for the score for Japan, but it also opened up their entire field.
And Makiyama then rolls the Frisbee aloft.
In that point, I was very impressed with Makiyama's fitness and ability to just stay at top gear. He was able to make several defensive plays and then also be the first person down on the last possession. Maybe not the cleanest of efficiency in terms of that break, but they were able to generate multiple turnovers against an American machine that has shown no signs of letting up. So I was very impressed. I'm so even more impressed with the throw that he made to that reset, that cross field, maybe 40-meter throw with just a little bit of shape around Rafi Hayes, opened up the field and allowed the offense to punch in that break.
Yeah, interesting. They were prepared to go back behind the advantage line as well, just to set up the angles on that particular shot. Okay, it's tied up. It's 5 apiece here in the first pool game of Ultimate. So let's see what the USO can do here. Free child. Options to Ing inside, which he goes to. Cross field. Ing again. These three just trying to set up something here. Midfield, USA, 5 apiece at the moment. Hayes down the line, nice. Finds Groom, down the line again, very nice. Team USA respond quickly.
These poaching Japanese defenders on the American pole plays are really kind of forcing the U.S. to rely on what, again, we call a dominator set, where the handlers in the backfield are driving the offensive movement. And so they're kind of looking to maintain possession and switch fields so that when the disc swings to one of the sidelines, a cutter like Cami Groom is there to get a big gain kind of down the sideline. And then leaving Carolyn Finney wide open, kind of assuming that, you know, the poached defender there would pick her up, but Cami Groom able to move the mark with a nice pump fake, and then Finney watching the disc all the way into her hands, securing a nice US hold. Captain Carolyn Finney is one of the 3-time World Games athletes for the Americans, and definitely a huge force offensively. Expect her to kind of be that pivot handler in those offensive sets.
Hang time here is huge. Japanese have got to take it deep in the zone. They move it out now. Got the entire 100 meters. Matsuno setting up play. Kurono.
Hannah Thompson with another layout block. I think that was an errant throw, but she was very opportunistic about taking a line to close that throwing window.
Chastain there trying to set things up as well. Oh, nice. Around the corner. So Team USA respond.
And that layout block by Anna Thompson is especially important because it happened at midfield. It shortens the field considerably for the American attack. So the offense can move at a fast pace without having just played, you know, 70 seconds of defense making big cuts. They're able to get an early possession block and then turn that into efficient, crisp offensive movement. I love the little shape that Grant Lindsley puts on the disc, bending it around the Japanese defender immediately, kind of a throw out to space that only Marquez Brownlee can catch.
So we got a break here, and we're going to enjoy the break because it's extremely warm at the moment. As we look at Ralphie Hayes there come off, did some good work in that initial stanza for the USA, got 2 early goals. With the scores here at the USA 7, Japan 5, we'll take a break, get out of the sunshine, rehydrate, and we'll be back with you in about 10 minutes from now. This is continuing coverage of the 2025 World Games from Chengdu.
还有哪些观众想要我们的礼物？好，这位红头发的小姐姐，OK，请起立，看一下我们场边的绿色题目。OK， 这个问题涉及到专业知识哦。团队飞盘比赛的标准场地长度是多少 ？A 100米 ，B 120米。OK， 你选择的是 A 100米，我们来看答案。OK， 恭喜您回答正确。我们还有2道题的机会哦。好，大家的欢呼声可以再高一点。好，这位男士。团队飞盘比赛中，每队在场的队员人数是多少 ？A 为5人 ，B 为7人。告诉我你的选择 ，OK， 选择是 B，7人。我们来看答案。OK， 非常棒，非常棒，恭喜你回答正确。好，这是本场比赛的最后一道题。声音还是有点小，最后一道题了。这位小朋友，能给题目打个广吗 ？OK， 我们来看最后一道题。飞盘比赛中，飞盘的直径通常是多少厘米 ？A 27厘米 ，B 30厘米。告诉我你的选择。OK， 选择的是 A 27厘米。我们来看答案。OK， 恭喜你回答正确。今天我们飞盘比赛第一场的5名观众。都回答正确。OK， 最后让我们再一次喊出我们世运会的口号：举重无限，气象万千。来，3、2、1，运动无限。OK， 谢谢你们，谢谢。
And if you're just joining us, this is the World Games 2025. We're at the end of the first half of the Pool A showdown in Ultimate between Team USA and Japan. And at the moment, it's Team USA leading 7 points to 5. I'm alongside of Robin Finnig, and Robin, national US representative. Your take on the game, and would Japan be happy with that? Would Team USA be happy with its 2-point break?
You know, if I was Team Japan, I would be very happy with most of that half. I think, you know, coming out and allowing the U.S. to get a clean break to start the game off was not necessarily their game plan, but what we can all agree on is that they were able to hold it down and start getting that traditional Japanese offensive style to start connecting. I've been really liking those cross-gender match deep throws from the Japanese women matching throwers, finding that correct spacing so that they can just put those forehand hooks out into space for their athletic, speedy man-matching players to kind of box out their defensive assignments and really get the end zone offense moving.
Quick look at Arakawa there, and number 17 as well, Ralphie Hayes from USA. That's Claire Trope at 37, big influence on this game as well. And this guy in shot there, number 10, Matsuno, the captain coach, calling it all at the moment. Grant Lindsay there. I hope he's got some sunscreen on. It's alongside him is Claire Trope, she's 37 today. Captain Carolyn Finney with the 11 jersey. Just about to get started here. in the second stanza of this Pool A showdown.
What I'll say about this American national team campaign is I've really loved watching the chemistry develop between Anna Thompson and Marquez Brownlee in the backfield. If they were my teammates, I would feel so confident with them driving the offense. I know that I could just continue to keep my head down, cutting to make big spaces, knowing they can possess, swing, attack at so many different angles as throwers. I've loved their chemistry developing. And excited to see more of it this half.
Well, here he is, because he's receiving the pole of Makiyawa, which just floats a little bit long.
Yeah, and you can't quite see it in the view of the camera right now, but the wind has completely died on the field. There are flags kind of in the background of the end zone that Marquez is walking away from, kind of on the left-hand side of your screen when we get that alternate perspective. But the wind has completely died, so these stifling conditions offer a different challenge for these offenses.
Marquez getting us away then. Chastain is there. Looking for a little bit of an overlap here.
Looks like there's a foul called on the mark, accepted, coming back in, stalling one.
Chastain away. Brownlee. Across here to Lindsley. Back to Chastain. The key pivot in this US team. Is again just making her some space. Nice 1-2 push. Chastain looking for options up front. Lindsley again. Chastain. Trope offering some options inside, trying to get there for her. Oh yes, and up here. Is it Ralphie Hayes again?
Grant Lindsley, able to exploit that collapsing Japanese zone defense. I've really enjoyed the ways that Japan has been able to slow down the American offensive attack and force the American team to be very patient. On the surface, folks might think that crossfield camera is impatient. Actually, it's perfectly calculated. Lindsley waits for the deep of that Japanese zone to get sucked in when the cycling through of Kocher, Trope, Raffi Hayes, those cutters are really cycling through effectively, waited for the deep to get drawn in a little bit too far, and puts the disc, as you can see, on that outside shoulder so that the Japanese defender doesn't have a play on it. And that's impressive given the number of blocks we saw Makiyama look to assist on in the first half.
Hayes started very brightly in the first half, and he's come out here in the second half and done the same thing again. So it's 8-5 USA. So Japan's offense now. Let's see what they can do. Suzuki, Arakawa, lunge play. Oh, that is just brilliant at the end.
And you can see the first part of that pull coverage. Ing was playing behind Arakawa, forcing him under, gets a big under, and then Arakawa is just able to turn on the jets and attack the deep space in front of the thrower immediately to create that throwing opportunity. And again, another expertly weighted flick away shot with just a little bit of shape, gets right out in front of Arakawa.
And indeed, just like they did, they exchanged goals, these pair, Hayes and Arakawa in the first half. They've done the same in the second. It's 8-6 USA over Japan at the moment. So Arakawa, Hayes both getting on the scoreboard. Arakawa, pretty handy player.
Yeah,
been around for a while as well. He's only 165 centimeters, but
this Japanese team, in returning Kishino and Arakawa, returned almost half of their goal scoring potential there. Obviously, I've been really interested to see which throwers were going to kind of step up into the role of filling Asada's offensive contributions last cycle. But I've been very impressed again with the multitude of forehand away shots from Japan.
Kosha. Hayes. Bit wide, just too much on it. Chastain couldn't get there. Turnover. Morikawa gets him going. Oh, nice lunge. Okajima here, and he gets it. So Japan just not going away at the moment.
Makiyama is leaving his fingerprints all over this game on both sides of the disc. He's done it as a defender, he's doing it as a receiver, and now we got to see his throw. I've mentioned that the wind has kind of been a little bit variable. It picked up right before that point, and you could kind of see when Makiyama pops up after this layout, kind of pops up, and the disc kind of pushes up just a little bit, and it was honestly a perfectly weighted throw so that his receiver could track it down, and it was just out of the grasp of Marquez Brownlee.
So Japan not going away. It's 8-7, Team USA. First round pool action here. Chengdu Sports University. Very warm day, sun glinting down. Humidity beginning to climb.
I really liked the marking adjustment from the Japanese defenders. It felt like after they fell out of their initial coach set to slow down the pull play, that when Rafi Hayes had the disc in the middle of the field, the mark was very flat, forcing kind of a more lateral swing throw to Claire Chastain that her defender would have been able to kind of cut that inside line to. So the throw from Rafi Hayes to Claire Chastain was very difficult, especially once the wind picked up. I think he would have maybe wanted to put a little bit of outside in shape on the disc, but either way it would have been a very difficult play to make.
Finney out on the brick spot. Hensley. Free child. Hensley again. Nice 1-2 here, Hayes. Team USA just trying to get things rolling here at the moment. Free child trying to just be the overlap. Finney again, dictating play from the centre. Looking for options. She's got some out left, but she's coming near side. Cross field now, trying to open up some vectors on the inside. Good options by the Americans. Lindsley, long, over the top. Who's there? Once again, Ralphie Hayes in the space that he needs to. Team USA again, just letting the Japanese know. Looks like he's the go-to guy.
Well, what I will say is the unsung hero of that point was Carolyn Finney. If you want to watch what textbook zone offense looks like from a handler, rewind that point back and you can see that Finney was setting up spaces 2 or 3 passes before she got the disc. I think a lot of attention gets paid to the person with the disc, the person scoring the goal and the assist. She was the cog that kept that offense going at a fast clip. She was able to spread out the Japanese zone defenders so that her teammates could have that quick movement. And then when she did get the disc, she distributed it quickly and kept that momentum going. Again, unsung hero of that offensive possession. Love the throw by Grant.
Yeah, this guy, he's been a big factor midfield, hasn't he? He's been looking at some great vector options. So it's 9-7. 35 elapsed on the clock. Team USA leads. Brownlee again, high. Gets his teammates up underneath the hang time. Right up there, right in the faces of the Japanese. But Japan not going away at the moment. They're certainly in for the fight, and they've still got another 35 minutes to do it in. Japan moving forward. Takada. Oh, great intercept. Brilliant intercept. And here is the man of the moment. Another goal to the Americans. Grant Lindsay just sitting on the end of that. Had all the time in the world just to watch it come over the top of his shoulder. And I think the Americans are up for it.
I'm happy to see, I hope that we get to see the replay of that defensive block. You know, you could see that after the Japanese handler kind of stumbled for a second, that Michael Ng kind of repositioned to take that inside line, making it look like that flat swing was open, and you could see him coming that inside shoulder and was able to accelerate through, securing that block, and then immediately, because it's a catch block, that means that as soon as he pops up, the transition offense can begin. You get to see him play a little bit of give-go with Chris Kocher and Grant Lindsley attacking deep. That is about as efficient as it can get.
Well, he's absolutely notorious for it, isn't he? He really throws himself around the field, and it's given the Team USA a 3-margin buffer here. So what can Japan do? They've been able to respond most of the match. Overlaps here. Imanishi looking outside. Suzuki inside to Kurono. Prepared to give up the advantage line if necessary, just to get the better angle. Moves up front if he wants them. Kurono again, holding together midfield. These two just trying to get the vectors happening. Here he goes. Got some options up front. Had loose. Imanishi was loose up front. Didn't go for it. Suzuki wide. There's a call midfield.
Looks like there's a pit call at the front of the stack that Shimizu was able to get open because Carolyn Finney was obstructed by another player. Again, you can't run your defender through traffic because, you know, with the field being as big as it is, it's a safety hazard for folks to be running into each other at full speed.
Kashino just in front of Finney there.
Some disagreement about whether the Japanese receiver was in or out. They're asking the game advisor for perspective.
Michael Ng involved in that discussion.
It appears the Japanese team thought there was a score, so they had to wait until the Japanese sideline support person was back on the sideline.
Imanishi is waiting patiently up in that zone. He's been indicating for a long time that he's free and available. Clever take there. And there it is.
Takata was very intentional about making sure that her feet were down on the sideline before, you know, making that catch. As soon as she popped up, she could read the cut coming across the end zone, and because that's the break side of the field, so typically the marking defender is trying to funnel the disc to one side of the field. You can see when she makes this that she gets that toe down, steps back up, moves her mark very effectively, and attacks the break side of the field. So that means that Kayla Helton, even though she was so close on that defensive bid attempt, she has to extend a lot farther to make that play, and the Japanese, again, as a team, very strong with their technical precision throws at short range. Every single player is a threat with the disc when they're on the end zone line.
Nice picture there of Kashino, the number 64 for Japan. Okay, it's 10-8. Japan about to get things started here with the clock ticking over. 30 minutes to go. 2-point differential. Brownlee picks up.
Very typical vertical stack initiation. We had two cutters attacking under on opposing sides of the field, and then Chris Kocher looking to attack deep kind of as the third person in the stack. Unfortunately, the Japanese defender ran into a woman matching teammate and called a pick, so was able to reset. That's why Chris Kocher came back to the back of the stack.
Kocher looking to break here, which he has. Got some free up front, not going for it at the moment. Chastain comes across, makes some room. Inside again, Brownlee. Space, Hayes. Round the side, and there it is.
Claire Trope's first goal of the game.
Indeed, you would have expected to see a little bit more of her, but she's certainly been playing a pivotal midfield play today.
Yeah, and I mean, I think as her game has really developed, her throws have become a more important aspect of her game with DC Scandal. Not just, excelling as a receiver. I think that, last cycle for the World Games, we saw her score so many goals, had really good chemistry with Jack Williams, who's unfortunately not on this this version of the national team for the Americans, but I really have enjoyed watching her develop more depth in her game by having those shorter range throws, able to attack the mark a little bit more, so it makes her a bigger threat and she can create a lot more space, because honestly teams are going to start fronting her a little bit more since her distribution skills have really started to grow.
There she is, Claire Trope in picture. Mr. Ng gets us underway then.
I can't tell if there was an offsides violation, so you can see the front of the end zone line. All of the players on the pulling team on defense have to remain fully behind that end zone line. They can't cross the plane of the line before the disc is released. So what happened was an observer signaled that there was an offsides violation. Japan accepted the offsides violation and they were able to take it at what is called the brick mark, which is 20 meters in front of the end zone and in the center of the field, a very desirable place to start an offensive possession.
Oh, just out of reach. Kuno there. So Team USA now get a chance to come back. This D team has been fantastic. Easily. Free Child comes near side to Ng, Michael. Once again, Ainsley. Wow, the amount of work these guys are getting through. Here's Free Child.
Was it foul?
So a foul called.
No.
It seems as though there was initially a foul call by Dylan Freechild, but then he retracted it.
So waved off, stays the turnover. Everybody set when you're ready.
We're able to hear the conversation on the field with the game advisor. Again, I think that's really great spirit of the game demonstrated by Dylan Freechild. And ultimately, he kind of acknowledged that self-officiation and the ability to rise to the moment and act with integrity in high-pressure situations, like playing at the World Games, that players are able to have a level head and make a good decision if contact doesn't impact the outcome of a play.
Tsunono looking for options. Goes to Kurono. Arakawa. Sono again really stepping up his workload here, the player coach, looking for options further forward. Just out of the despairing reach of Japan.
A little bit too far out into space for Takata. I mean, I don't hate the look, but I would say that it is a very, what we call an out-of-system look. Japan typically is looking to throw those like lateral passes to folks coming from the front of the stack in the reset space, not typically looking to go kind of sideline to sideline in their end zone set like that. So I would be a little bit disappointed if I was, from Team Japan.
Free Child here trying to get some organization happening off of the US zone. Easily coming in to help. Options up front. Michael Ing, one-handed, another one to him.
As soon as that throw went, that started to go to Carolyn Finney, you could see Dawn Colton extending the depth of her cut, so she was able to gain maybe an extra 10 to 15 meters coming back towards the disc, so that her cut was longer and the throw is longer. That meant that Ing was able to push downfield and continue that high tempo offensive attack. I love the fearlessness that with which Dawn Colton plays. She's really known, for her highlight receiver moments, towing the sideline, making wild layout catches. But I think we get to see that fearlessness also applies to her technical skill with the disc. When she sees Ing has separation in the deep space, she can just trust that she can put that out to space and that he's going to box out his defender and complete that offensive sequence.
So
I really liked that second possession from the U.S. I felt that they were able to establish a rhythm and a tempo and work all together to get the disc moving after
so
that
big
turnover.
margin here by Team USA now. They're out to 4. They're leading 12-8 here in the second period of this Pool A first game of Ultimate here at the World Games 2025. Brownlee, as he has all day, gets this monster pull out and grounded. Gives the US team a chance to move forward.
Because the disc rolled, so it landed in the end zone area and then it rolled out of bounds, Japan will then walk the disc up to put it into play at the front of the end zone, so they don't have to take it at the back line.
A mistake there.
It was a very effective poach by Claire Chastain to cause a little bit of chaos. It was unclear who was attacking that space, if anyone, from Japan. Leads to a short field turnover.
And USA now with a big chance. Goes inside to Brownlee. And there it is. Very elegant, just around the corner.
And if you're the American team, that is exactly how you want to seal your first victory at the World Games, with really intelligent, defensive, chaos causing, a short field turn, boom, boom, efficient end zone set, and a clean attack to break for your last point at the World Games.
So brilliant performance then by Team USA. 13-8 it is in this Pool A showdown. Japan plucky early. In fact, they held the Americans for most of that first half, but then Team USA put the hammer down and they come away with a pretty emphatic 5-point lead and comprehensive victory here. They go to the top of Pool A. We've got some more action in store here at the games, and we might relive, if you can see the monitor, Robin, some of the action, some of the highlights from this first half.
We got that last scoring sequence, just a little bit of give-go action in the backfield between Marquez Brownlee and Anna Thompson, being on the watch out for that connection. Again, really excited to see them continue to develop their chemistry. We got to see a textbook Claire Trope score at the front of the cone. That is exactly, again, how the American team wants to wrap up their first game.
So they've weathered the heat and they've weathered a very plucky opponent in Japan. And the top seeds here have done it in the end pretty comprehensively. They'd be very happy, and the takeaway from all that would be that they're looking pretty good in Pool A at the moment.
I was impressed by the offensive efficiency of the American team. Really loved to see their depth shine. We saw a lot of different folks throwing assists, scoring goals, and then I'd also, if I was Japan, I would feel very proud of that defensive effort to come out of halftime, apply some pressure, get a break pretty early in the half to bring it within one against a really strong American team. I think that shows the mental resilience that they have to be able to bounce back from the Americans taking half off of a break and then kind of answer a few points back later with a break of their own. Was really impressed by the defensive play of Makiyama from Japan, and I think his overall fitness is really going to shine as these games continue to be hot very humid, very difficult, and I think that he's really going to shine both as a defender and as a matchup threat on offense.
And you could see Matsuno as well in that second half, just trying to step it up a little bit. There is Makiyama there in shot, but Matsuno as well, really stepping it up deep in that second half, just trying to pull it back for Team Japan, but not to be. So Team USA then come away with clear 2 points at the end of that showdown against their Japanese opponents. And the Americans will be feeling pretty happy about life.
What I'll say, so right now what's going on is after each of the games, the teams will come together in what we call a spirit circle. So you'll notice that each of the players are kind of alternating between American, Japanese, and so forth. And what they're going to do is they're going to talk a little bit about how the officiating and the gameplay went. This is kind of just that extra added accountability as part of the spirit of the game system. So, you know, what type of calls happened? Were they resolved efficiently? Was the body contact acceptable? So that teams can adjust throughout the tournament, ensuring that they're playing with not just the highest athleticism, but the utmost integrity throughout this tournament. So in addition to a captain, each team has what's called a spirit captain, and they're really responsible for knowing the rules, being able to help diffuse any conflict about rule application throughout the game. And so each team's respective spirit captain will be speaking, you know, about the gameplay and how the South officiation went.
Well, wonderful facilities here at Chengdu Sports University, which is the host venue this next few days for the sport of ultimate. And as the predictions would have it, it's Team USA that has come away with the win here. In the end, it was quite comprehensive. It was 15-8 against Japan, Pool A action. Pool B action coming up in about an hour or so. Hope you can come back and join us then. Colombia versus Canada. And Robin Fennick, thank you so much indeed for your wonderful insights into today's match. We appreciate that and your time very much indeed. And there you can see the standings in Pool A at the end of that 13-8 win by USA over Japan. Robin, thank you very much indeed. Cool down, rehydrate, and we'll see you back here for action later in the day. So for the moment then, from the stadium here at Chengdu Sports Stadium, we'll bid you a good morning and hope that you can come back and join us for some Pool B action a little bit later on today, Colombia versus Canada.